Have you ever wondered why some people seem to save money effortlessly while everyone else feels like they're constantly running out of it? Think about that question for a moment. Because most people don't actually earn dramatically more than everyone else. Yet somehow, certain people consistently build savings, invest, and stay financially stable, while others feel stuck in a cycle where every paycheck disappears, almost as soon as it arrives. A few months ago, I became curious about this exact question. Not because I was terrible with money, but because I noticed something frustrating. No matter how much financial content I watched online, the advice always seemed overwhelming. Create detailed spreadsheets, track every purchase, categorize every expense, review your budget every night. And, while those methods might work for some people, I knew myself well enough to admit something. I wasn't going to spend hours every week managing spreadsheets. So I started looking for a simpler approach. That's when I discovered a budgeting method called Pay Yourself First. The concept sounded almost too simple. In fact, I wasn't convinced it could actually work. But I decided to test it for 30 days anyway. And what happened completely changed the way I think about money. If you're interested in making smarter financial decisions without making your life more complicated, make sure to subscribe and let's get started. Before I explain what happened, let's talk about what Pay Yourself First actually means. Most people receive money and immediately start paying everyone else. The landlord gets paid, the grocery store gets paid, streaming services get paid, restaurants get paid, online stores get paid, and then whatever happens to be left over gets saved, if anything is left over at all. The Pay Yourself First method flips that process upside down. Instead of saving what's left after spending, you save first and spend what's left afterward.
That's it.
No complicated formulas, no endless categories, just one simple rule. The moment your paycheck arrives, a portion automatically goes towards savings or investing before you have a chance to spend it. At first, I honestly thought this sounded too obvious. But then I realized something important. Simple doesn't mean ineffective. In fact, many of the most powerful financial habits are surprisingly simple, so I decided to test it. For this experiment, I chose to automatically move 20% of every paycheck into a separate investment account. Not after paying bills, not at the end of the month, immediately, the moment the money arrived. Now here's where things got interesting. The first week felt uncomfortable. When I looked at my checking account balance, it seemed smaller than usual. My brain immediately started thinking I had less money. But that's exactly the point. Because once the money was gone, I stopped treating it as spendable. Instead of asking, how much can I spend this month? I naturally started asking, how can I make this amount work? That subtle shift changed everything. Psychologists call this constraint-based decision-making. When resources feel limited, people become more intentional. Instead of spending automatically, they begin prioritizing. And that's exactly what happened. I didn't suddenly become a financial genius. I simply became more aware. For example, there were several moments when I almost ordered food delivery out of convenience. But then, I remembered something. Every dollar spent today is a dollar that can't grow tomorrow. That doesn't mean I stopped enjoying life. Far from it. I still went out. I still bought things I wanted. The difference was that I started spending with purpose instead of habit. And surprisingly, I didn't feel deprived. In fact, I felt more in control. Now let's look at the numbers because this is where the strategy becomes powerful. Imagine someone earns $4,000 per month after taxes. If they automatically save 20%, that's $800 every month. Over a year, that's $9,600. Many people stop there and think, okay, that's nice. But investing changes the equation entirely. Let's assume that money earns an average annual return of 8%. Over time, those monthly contributions begin generating returns of their own. Then those returns generate even more returns. This is the power of compound growth. Over 20 years, consistent investing could potentially grow into hundreds of thousands of dollars. Not because of luck, not because of some secret stock-picking strategy, but because of consistency. And that's the part most people underestimate. Financial success is usually less about making one brilliant decision and more about repeating a good decision for a very long time. During my 30-day experiment, I noticed another unexpected benefit. Money became less stressful. That might sound strange. After all, I was setting aside money before spending it. Shouldn't that feel restrictive? Instead, it felt freeing, because I knew my future was already being taken care of. The saving happened automatically. There was no daily debate, no constant guilt, no wondering whether I should save more later. The important part was already done. Everything else became easier. Here's the best analogy I can think of. Imagine you're filling a bucket with water. Most people wait until the bucket is almost empty before trying to refill it. Pay yourself first works differently. It fills the bucket before anything else can drain it. As a result, the bucket never stays empty for long. That's exactly how savings work. Now, is this method perfect? Of course not. Some people have expenses that make saving 20% difficult right now. Others are paying off debt. Some are dealing with rising housing costs. That's completely normal. The exact percentage isn't what matters most. What matters is building the habit of paying your future self before everyone else. Even 5% is better than zero. Even 10% can create meaningful progress over time. The goal isn't perfection. The goal is consistency. So after testing this strategy for 30 days, what was my conclusion? Did it answer the question we started with? Why do some people seem to save money effortlessly while everyone else struggles? Yes. And the answer surprised me. They don't necessarily have more discipline. They don't always earn more money. Often, they simply use systems that make saving automatic. Because when a good financial habit becomes automatic, it stops relying on motivation. And that's what makes it sustainable. If there's one lesson I learned from this experiment, it's this. The easiest money to save is the money you never give yourself a chance to spend. So here's my challenge for you. The next time your paycheck arrives, try paying yourself first, even if it's a small amount. Then stick with it for 30 days and see what happens. You might discover that building wealth isn't about complicated strategies at all. Sometimes it's about making one simple decision and repeating it month after month. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to subscribe and leave a comment below. I'm curious, if money automatically disappeared into savings the moment you got paid, would you miss it? Let me know. And remember, every dollar you save today is working to make your future easier tomorrow. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.